Okay, so we're gonna look at a game I played recently. It is a miniature, and well, I started with e4, b6, the Owen's defense. So here I played d4, taking the center, the most common move. And here my opponent played a move I didn't expect. He played e6 instead of fianchettoing the bishop. So I developed with knight f3 since my pawn is not being attacked. And now he played bishop b7. And here I thought he probably had something prepared, although it is a blitz game, so I'm not too worried. But I didn't want to play bishop d3 or knight c3 or queen d3 or queen e2 blocking the bishop on f1. So I went for knight bd2. And here my opponent played a move which I was not expecting at all, d5. And there is a game between Garry Kasparov with the white pieces against Augustine in 1989, I believe, that went bishop b5 check, c6, and bishop back to d3. Now you can look at the game if you want. I'm not gonna analyze that game because I'm not gonna pretend like I know what's going on. I close the center with e5, so the bishop now on b7 is kind of not doing anything. And now this looks more like a French defense. So after e5, my opponent immediately played c5, which is a thematic idea in the French defense. And after c3, he exchanged. Now I played he played bishop b4, pinning my knight, and I played bishop b5 check because I thought that he wouldn't block with the knight. Instead of, I thought that he would play bishop c6, trying to trade off his bad bishop, the light score bishop. And I was right. He played bishop c6, so now I went back to d3, which is a very good square for the bishop if black ever castles kingside. And now my opponent made I wouldn't call it a blunder, but it's a mistake. He played knight e7, and now if you notice, the dark square bishop on b4 doesn't have any good retreat squares. So I played a3, which means that now he's forced to capture on d2, which he did. And after I capture, now I have the advantage of the two bishops, and my light square bishop is so much better than his because it's blocked in, and his knight on b8 is not really a great piece. And after the engine here actually prefers the move queen to d7, but already white has a big advantage. My opponent actually castled, and here you can take a few moments to figure out what the best continuation for white is. After this, I immediately just looked at a sacrifice, which I did calculate, but this sacrifice, well, I wasn't sure if it's gonna work or not, so I finally decided that it should be winning. So bishop takes on h7 check, and here the engine prefers king to h8, but I think it's still losing anyway. So my opponent took the piece, and now knight g5 check. If king back to g8, then there's no way to stop mate after queen h5. So he went king to g6, and after queen to g4, which is a common idea when the king goes to g6. My opponent played f5, attacking the queen, but this doesn't really do anything because I can just take en passant. And here there's two ways to recapture, but the best move is actually to take with a pawn. Not that it matters really because the game is completely lost. He took with the rook, and now check, and I'm winning the queen for free. Now, if he had taken with a pawn, then the rook is defending the queen, so he would at least get the knight for it, but like I said, it's completely lost. So after this, again, the computer suggests king to h8, knight g5. Now, I mean, g6 probably the best move. Here I probably would have played queen to g4, but actually queen to f3 is a better move, threatening queen f6 checkmate. And after knight f5, I mean, it's not so easy to see how white continues the attack. So if you want to take a look at this position and analyze it and try to come up with your own ideas, this position is still very good for white, probably winning. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, thanks for watching.